pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'll now call the city meeting to order, and I'll entertain a motion for approval of the agenda. And is there a second? Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries 4-0. Public forum limited to agenda items. Margot's not going to talk, so I guess we can move on. Approval of the consent agenda. Entertain a motion. And a second.
Second.
Moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda. Any further discussion regarding that?
I have two questions.
Okay.
The Chingawassa promotion, do they reimburse us?
You gotta tell me more what you're talking about. Is that the $500?
Yeah.
That
What
came
is
out
that?
of bed tax money, and
Okay.
that was a committee decision.
But what is it?
It's a donation to Chingawassa Days out of the bed tax money to use for promotions.
All right. And the other one is, Keith Unruh building permit refund. Where's that?
Mr. Unruh purchased 3 lots from Gary Weeder down in South Cobble on the east side.
Okay.
He had intended on building a home there. He brought in hand-drawn plans. And as we were going through the plan review, we went back and forth several times on additional information we needed as a city. And then he decided that he would withdraw his application until he gets somebody to professionally draw.
Okay, thank you. That's all, Dave.
Okay. Moving right along. Anyone else? Number 6, award of RFP on the
Sorry.
I'm sorry, what?
We never voted on the
Oh,
approval of the consent agenda.
you're right. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries 4-0. Number 6, award of RFP on lease purchase for motor grader.
Council had previously approved the purchase of a motor grader from the county. And so an RFP was sent out to our 3 local banks. We received one back from Marion National, which has been provided in your packet. So we are just looking at approval of that request sent back from Marion National so we can proceed with the purchase of that motor grader.
Any questions?
Yeah, on April the 4th, it was discussed about us using the proceeds from the RA building, or 828 North Roosevelt, to pay for this motor grader. What happened to that?
That's what's being utilized for the down payment for 12.5. And rather than using all of those funds, by putting it on a lease purchase on a used piece of equipment, we spread it out over, in this case, 3 more years.
Okay, thank you.
Any further discussion? I move to accept the lease purchase agreement with Marion National Bank for the acquisition of 1997 Cat 120 horse motor grader from Marion County. Is there a second?
I second.
Been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion carried 4-0. Number 7, code enforcement and building inspection proposal. Margaret?
Okay, at your workstations this evening, there is a revised contract that was provided by Ryan Bina, our city attorney, this morning, and Brad Jantz, the city attorney for Harrington, clarifying some of the language that will be this employee and how confidentiality would be maintained, and keep it separate. All files that are Marion's and only can be discussed here. Their files will be there, okay? The rest of the contract, what has happened is Harrington's inspector had given notice she was going to relocate to Atlanta, Georgia, for a job there. And so they were looking for a certified building inspector and code enforcement officer. And the gentleman from Council Grove indicated a willingness to go to work for Harrington. But because of his certifications and his prior experiences, his salary was more than what Harrington could do. So Brandon, who's the city manager, gave me a call and he said, "Are you still looking for code enforcement?" And I said, "Yes, we are. We've been talking with Hillsborough, and their inspector's already handling several communities." So it worked out that Jimmy is, as of today, he's an employee, left Council Grove, he now works for the city of Harrington. Okay? And for us, this is the most cost-effective way that we can get certified building inspection services, as well as a certified property management manager to help us with our code enforcement here in the city of Memphis. In order to hire someone fully certified, they very much want a full-time position and benefits, all of that type of stuff. So it worked out with the two communities going together on this effort. And Jimmy will be an employee of Harrington. They handle all of the HR stuff, so forth. We're contracted services with the city of Harrington, but he provides 2 days a week on site here, and the fee is $1,800 a month as well. So with building projects that we have currently underway and projects that are in the works right now, we believe it's important that we have certified inspector services.
Roger, where do we find in here, if it doesn't work out, can we get rid of him easy?
Yeah, there's a termination clause. There is a 6-month notice that we have to give in there. But yes, if it doesn't work out, it's back on 14.
I think I saw something like that. Next day, 14A.
Yeah. The severability, we go through there, on the signs. And then there's also the default clause
Okay,
where we can do, if
6.
the employee left, something like that, we can do a 30-day period and 10 days when the
Questions?
So it'll be down here on Mondays, it says, and then,
Our committed day will be every Monday.
and then the other day, is that us, is the city that determines that, or if there's a contractor in town, can the contractor determine that, or who will determine that second day?
The second day will be determined by him based on his workload and interaction with contractors and city staff. The city staff will notify him of any plan reviews, application, or Mr. Vina's office, any code enforcement that he needs to do monitoring and notification. We also envision him taking over the mowing letters, all of this, property nuisance under our code to be handled by Jimmy, and he'll keep up with all of the record keeping. He'll just need office staff to actually do the mailing of the letters for him. It will relieve Clinton's, Dwayne McCarty, who spends considerable portion of his time on code enforcement. But this will give us a way that it's constantly tracked and monitored. Hopefully it improves the productivity and the efficiency on addressing those violations that exist.
Do we have anybody that's on city staff that would be willing to take on this job at extra pay and educate him?
We've already tried that when Marty left. We've had Jeff Harper, and Tim Makovich handling the building code side of it. And then I've done the plan reviews for them, construction prints, all of that type of stuff. Since I'm not going to be here, Tim doesn't believe that he can do the job with all of his other responsibilities to the best of his ability.
I would think that there'd be somebody up there, if we're gonna pay him $1,800 to come down here and do it 2 days a week, I would think one of our employees would willingly accept it for $1,000 raise a month.
But it's more about understanding how to do a plan review, and understanding what you're looking at, and how to do a building
There's
inspection.
schooling that would educate him.
There is, but there's not 30 years of experience like that he's got.
Okay, have we looked at the local contractors that are retired, that have built all their life here in Marion, do it per se job?
You probably can hire about 4 or 5 of them, because you got electrical, you
Well, we
got
got
building.
Harvey
you got-
Sanders, and we
There's
got Earl
electrical,
Winter.
so you don't have, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that goes into building inspection besides one specialty trade, and to know all of that, I really think $1,800 a month would be able to steal if we're being.
Okay,
completely
if
honest.
our share is $1,800, what is Harrington paying?
His annual salary is $52,000, so we're paying, 38%.
And this isn't costing us any benefits either.
Well, we got expenses in here somewhere, I read. And we have to pay for part of his insurance, I think.
It'll be reevaluated on an annual basis based on.
You know, my
what the
problem
expenses are.
mainly with this, I think we need somebody, but I hate to tie the new administrator's hands for 2 years.
We're not planning for 2 years.
We can terminate this anytime we want.
You got 6 months.
That's my question.
You got 6 months, 6, effective date.
You know, the last person we had certified to do any of this was Kermit Dirksen. We haven't had anybody since then. And we've had some real problems and issues with some of the things that's been going on since Kermit's left. And the other thing I like about this is the fact that he doesn't live here. So he's not gonna be beholden to anybody, you know, that lives here in Marion, as opposed to somebody who's, you know, is one of our people. They're here every day. I mean, I think that's part of it.
It may be too that the new administrator has some abilities to do this stuff too.
There again, I mean, you're talking about now you're adding that onto all the other stuff that you're already doing as a city administrator.
Yeah.
Your hands are full already. This could, I mean,
We've got a lot of stuff that's going on. right?
that's what I mean, do we think, so we're gonna have him down here 2 days a week? Do we think a city administrator can give up 2 days a week?
What do we actually have going on there?
Oh, we've got 28 new houses that's possibly be built.
Where?
The MAC group has been working with a developer. The land that they own north of the ball fields
Yeah, where's that?
are being,
Subdivided?
given to this developer to do 28 homes. The application is in the Kansas Housing Resource Center right now. We have the 4 remaining,
Coble?
on Coble Street. And there's the phase 2 of Coble Street, that if in the future you want to develop that, that's another 18 homes directly behind where.
Yeah.
I was unaware of this when I read the statement that we have a possibility of 35 homes, and we've only built 9 in the last 5 years. I had to think, what's going on?
The 28 homes are rentals, which is a market spot right now that we've got a need for.
Okay,
We have 2 private individuals that have building permits out right now on homes. On South Coleman, and on North Hill. Those 2. And we've got the commercial development going with the Family Dollar right now. It needs some periodic inspections on it. You know, and again, this is up to council. I just was simply trying to secure a methodology to make the transition as smooth as possible as you look for new leadership in my role. To this point in time, I've done the plan sense. This is part of why Mr. Henry withdrew his building permit right now. Again, if this is not what you want, that's fine. Just trying to give you the most cost-effective way to create a glide path for your future as a community.
So do we have 5 houses up there on Cobble or 4?
There's 5 that are built and
And we
now
still have 4.
occupied. There's 4 more that have to go. Then in Fink, there's 3 lots that have been sold that are in the design stage for the project there. We have the South Cobble going, and then we have what will be referred to as Marion Ridge,
Which is up there.
which will be
And you
28.
said these will be rentals, or who will actually own them?
It's a company called MRE
It is like the contractor now. It is like the contractor that he's building for.
No, this is a development company that builds these for HUD throughout the country. They own 35, 36 properties throughout the 4-state area. And they've been encouraged by KHRC, which is the Housing Resource Corp, to look at Marion because of our shortage on rental houses in the area. And this development company that looked at it, David received a letter today from the state notifying that the project had been put in the queue. They're reviewing it for the next cycle.
But that would be in the county if it comes to ball field.
When Mac received that land, they had it annexed into the city, so utility services could be extended to. If they were in the county.
Or they want to build a theater or whatever.
Right. And then that land is already annexed, 300 feet wide, 905 feet deep is already part of the city.
Okay, if this housing development comes into play, this Marion Ridge, will we have to pay to install
Hang
the?
on, just a second. What does this have to do with code enforcement and hiring a code enforcement officer? That's what this agenda item is. Let's focus on that. We're way down a rabbit hole right now. This is way off topic. I'm sorry, this is absurd.
Okay. I entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
And second? I'll second it. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
Aye.
Motion is carried. Okay, emergency manual updates and siren procedures, Chief Jeffrey.
You guys have the updated emergency guide, which the main majority of things is updating contact information for individuals who have left employment or switched titles or new council, stuff like that. And then the other main issue was the tornado sirens. After the last time we activated the tornado sirens, we kind of ran into some problems that may or may not have existed for some time and thought that maybe we should take a look at this. But in the manual, we took out, it's crossed out what we took out, and then we changed it to severe weather. We changed disaster to severe weather, and then from one continuous 5-minute blast to one continuous siren blast. So that way there wasn't a time frame set up in case power went out, and then if power goes out, some of the sirens will go off. There's a couple that will stay on if the battery are charged. And then the all clear is currently a 1-minute siren blast, and we thought that that might be an issue if the power were to go out and then it were to come back on. And now once the system's re-energized, the tornado sirens come back on, and then there's a false sense of all clear. And we would change that to the use of the code red notification system that the city has, as well as the Facebook page the city has, and then the county has an Everbridge notification system, which is similar to code red, and those are all accessible to the general public. And then I just wanted to reiterate that the tornado sirens are for outdoor warning and not for people who are inside the residence. And ultimately, it is up to the individual to do what they think is necessary for their safety. And we will do everything we can to notify everybody in large groups and who's outside, that a tornado, is possible. But we get a lot of confusion with people saying, I didn't hear the sirens inside my house, and stuff like that. But those were the two main changes, on the tornado sirens. And then the flood evacuation, we just added the use of those notification systems, Code Red, Facebook, and Everbridge. Those were the main gists for the tornado sirens. And then on the electrical, getting the electricity back up, we'll change to the circuits that are being changed with the electrical upgrade. I don't know a whole lot about that, but I know there's several that are the old system, and when they upgrade the new system, there won't be as many circuits. So then just the order that they are activated, or re-energized, that was a change as well.
Questions? When you guys activate the sirens, like you did the last time, do you go by, do you know the locations of all the sirens and go by and see if they're working?
No, because we usually don't have that many people out, and we're usually the fire department is spread out outside the city limits, monitoring the storm, and then usually I'm sitting there on whatever electronic device will work, and trying to look at radar, National Weather Service notifications, stuff like that, and then decide whether or not to activate them. In order to activate the sirens, somebody has to be standing next to the switch, which both of them are above ground. And if I'm standing there waiting for 5 minutes above ground, I really don't want to be there if there's really a tornado, and then deactivating it and turning it back on and stuff like that. But that's all done. And we don't, I mean, we can hear them come on, and that's about as good as, because we usually have somebody notifying large gatherings of people. On the last event, there was baseball, softball, there was something at the Elgin, the hospital, living centers, all those places. Somebody's usually out doing that, and then chickens with our heads cut off for a little bit, trying to get everything covered and everything activated. So we're trying to minimize who has to stand there. I mean, I can run inside, flip the tornado siren on, and do whatever next task needs to be done.
All right. Any further questions? I move to approve the revisions and updates to Marion Emergency Management Guide dated May 31st, 2022. Is there a second?
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. 4-0. Number 9, Wichita State Strategic Plan Proposal.
So, as we kind of discussed in another meeting, Roger and I here a few weeks back had an initial meeting with WSU on how they can help us with strategic planning. So they put together a proposal for us and basically broken it out into several different price points and kind of into different a la carte, I guess you can call it, ideas. So overall, I gotta say I'm really excited about it. I think it looks really good, and the price on it seems right to me too. Ultimately, the direction, in my mind, the direction of our town should be decided by the community and not just by the 5 of us. I mean, we're representing the town, so they should have some input in how that goes. So, you know, when you look through this, they talk about creating a strategic planning team that would not only include members of our city staff and governing body, but also community leaders. Talks about determining both opportunities and barriers for growth of our town, you know, as we go forward. So I think that's a really important thing. And then probably one of my favorite ideas in terms of getting community feedback is the community event idea that they talked about in there, where we would hold a community event similar to like what the hospital did last year with the St. Luke's Community Appreciation Night. And WSU would actually have people that would be at that event, and they would be intercepting, or whatever word you want to use, and just asking them some questions about where they think the community should be headed, different questions that they had to get. So that was a pretty neat idea, something I had not ever thought of, but that would be in addition to some online surveys and some of that. So I guess to kind of wrap things up, again, you know, it gets me really, really excited to read through this and see what they've done for us. I think it gives, planning and zoning some good base material, because they could include in that, some survey questions for them as well. And I just get really excited about being able to affect the future of our town and, you know, be able to be proactive instead of reactive on stuff. So that's my kind of spiel.
DEC got into this kind of business, huh?
Yeah, it sounds like they have some of those types of folks on staff, yeah.
Question.
Well, do we take part of it, or we have to take all of it? What's the deal here?
We can pick and choose any piece that we want. That's why they've attached pricing to each individual thing. When I look at it, for under $25,000, we can do all of it. And I'm not picking on planning and zoning, but, you know, the first proposal they came to us was the $60,000 to put together a comp plan, and I understand that's more, there's maybe some more to that, but still, to be able to get planning and zoning some data, as well as get a strategic plan in place, this is pretty
In
good
that
deal.
interaction with our community, it would be one set of surveys, not
Two.
two, planning and zoning, and then the city doing strategic. And Jerry, your question's on page 8,
Yeah.
okay? There are, if we're going to engage their services, we have to do the strategic planning team, the stakeholder engagement focus groups, and the final strategic action plan. Those 3 items are required for their engagement, and that would be $11,550 investment. However, we have the other available to us for stakeholders meetings, influencing factors report, which is outlined in there, the community engagement survey, and it's not just a single, like a Facebook survey or something electronic. They're using multiple avenues to engage with the community. So regardless of the age demographic that we're looking for, I mean, some people will only answer on their phone. They wanna do a survey there. Others want something in writing. Others want the opportunity to come to a meeting and talk about it. And then the info event is where we talk about, it would be the governing body hosting a barbecue or something in the park, okay? People are invited, they can hear what the strategic planning is all about, and then WSU has staff there that will be asking questions of people that are there to gather input on what is the community really like. And then the 5th option